Assalamualaikum. Selamat datang. Welcome to Syed Akbar Podcast. Hari ini banyak benda yang kita nak bincang, nak berbual. Dan hari ini kita bernasib baik. My guest today is Syed Akbar Ali, well-known blogger, columnist, businessman, dan orang yang bernas pemikiran dan kupasan tentang isu-isu semasa. Welcome, Syed.
Terima kasih, Datuk.
Ya. Jadi hari ini I think kita mulakan benda dengan topik yang current lah. Yang paling current ialah Tun Daim dan keluarga akan dihadapkan ke mahkamah, ataupun isterinya telah pun dihadapkan ke mahkamah atas pertuduhan tidak mengisytiharkan harta bila notis diberi oleh MACC untuk beliau berbuat demikian. Dan hari ini juga kita diberitahu walaupun Tun Daim di hospital, mungkin beliau akan dituduh di kawasan hospital itu. Seorang hakim akan pergi ke sana untuk membuat pertuduhan tersebut, untuk mendengar pertuduhan tersebut. Jadi, Syed, yang berlaku sekarang ini bukanlah satu perkara baru. Orang politik kena buat pertuduhan rasuah dan sebagainya. Cuma yang menjadi trend sekarang ni, terlalu ramai pemimpin-pemimpin UMNO yang kena tuduh rasuah. Seorang demi seorang. Ya? Mungkin Tun Mahathir, Daim, sebelum ni Muhyiddin Yassin, lepas ni bekas Perdana Menteri Ismail Sabri pun di soal siasat. Dan saya tak tahulah apa akan jadi, seolah-olah semua pemimpin-pemimpin Melayu, pemimpin-pemimpin kita, bekas-bekas Perdana Menteri kita ni semua rasuah. Jadi siapa yang di Malaysia ni yang tak rasuah? Itu siapa yang kata orang the clean man in our politics, ya? Saya pun hairan. Kerana setahu saya, kata orang putih lah, if you come from the same pool, susah nak cari. Kalaulah semua yang sekongkong dengan pool itu rasuah, agak sukar untuk mencari pemimpin yang tak rasuah. Jadi apa kesannya kepada negara kita? Bekas Perdana Menteri Najib pun dalam jail. Semualah pendek kata selepas dalam masa 10 tahun inilah, seorang demi seorang. So apa kesudahannya? What's your comment?
Terima kasih, Datuk. We live in very interesting times lah. Macam orang putih kata, Kristian katalah, let him who has no sin cast the first stone, kan?
Yes.
kalau kita nak rejam batu pada siapa-siapa, kita carilah orang yang langsung tidak berdosa lah. Orang yang macam kain putih lah. So we're not going to find such people lah. Tapi this issue now, as you mentioned, since 2018, a new trend has developed. We are entering a new territory. So first time lah, kali pertama dalam 62 tahun sejarah negara kita sejak merdeka, ya, kita tukar kerajaan from BN. Basically we have changed government, and since 2018 dah tukar kerajaan empat kali. The longest serving was 22 months. Now the present government 14 bulan lebih lah. So this is a new trend. The details of Puan Naimah kena charge dengan anak dia 2 orang. Okay, those are facts of the case lah. Tak tahu sub-judice or not, but we can discuss that. We can just touch it on it lah. Tapi bagi saya lah, what I see is that 2009 kan, 2009 BN lost 2/3 majority.
Yeah.
I think 2009. And then 2014 the next election, it got worse lah. Masa tu was Datuk Seri Najib. And finally 2018 they lost the power. And then immediately immediate result tu the incoming government bawah Tun Dr. Mahathir, they promptly arrested Datuk Seri Najib,
Yeah.
charged him, and he went to jail. And then Dr. Mahathir was removed from office 22 months later, diganti oleh Tan Sri Mahyudin. Tan Sri Mahyudin pula jadi PM more than a year, and then he was replaced by Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri. And then there was a charge against Tan Sri Mahyudin, and he was charged in court tapi terlepas lah. And then after Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, you found this this present government took over in November 2022. And in the meantime, the DPM Datuk Seri Zahid was also charged, but he was DNAA lah. All the charges were dismissed. Sekarang ni it looks like the turn of keluarga Tun Daim. Although factually wife dia yang kena charge yesterday kan. Wife dia kena charge and the two sons, and the charge is non-declaration of asset. So it looks like there is a trend lah. So nak cakap banyak ni, yalah, it looks like it's sad lah benda ni berlaku, but it shows that there is house cleaning that needs to be done in our country, and the process is starting. This is process. Sebab kita first time after 62 tahun tukar kerajaan pada 2018, we are still macam baru lahir lah. So we are going through this process. Suka tak suka, agree, don't agree, right or wrong, ethical tak ethical, we can debate until the cows come home lah. But it is happening lah. So I think the trend will continue. The thing is, yang bagi saya lah, what everybody has to remember, and what the people who are involved with government politics have to remember is that zaman the joke about Malaysia, Perdana Menteri tak pernah berubah, tapi Agong kita berubah every 5 years kan. Negara lain raja dia tak berubah, Perdana Menteri yang berubah lah. But for 62 years negara kita ni kerajaan kekal. The king will change 5 years. Now that zaman tu dah tak ada dah. It has changed. In the last 6 years, we have now, this is the 5th Prime Minister, kalau if you include Datuk Seri Najib. And we do not know if a Prime Minister will last a full term, or if a Prime Minister lasts a full term kalau dia boleh menang balik re-election. So now that is the situation in the country now. So what I feel is that this thing will continue. Kalaulah berlaku perubahan kerajaan, I mean after full term, whatever administration comes in, they will do the same thing. They will look to dig up dirt and all that. So the lesson that I think we can learn, or the people in power, the politicians, those who are the so-called actors and players, what they have to remember now is that, so be careful lah what you do. Sebab now you do not know how long you will be in power, or things will be in your favor. So sekali benda tu political landscape berubah, you might be called to question.
Yeah.
See.
Okay.
So it's a good lesson lah.
It's a good lesson, but it is not a complete lesson in the sense that you see, Syed, all these people yang kena charge ni, all these party leaders, prime ministers, orang yang so naturally sedikit sebanyak dia ada kaitan dengan political funds. Because politik requires money, dia memerlukan wang. Dan semua pemimpin politik yang kena charge tu, mungkinlah salah satu punca yang menyebabkan mereka bertindak demikian is to raise money for the party. So, selagi kita tidak ada political funding law, kita tidak cari jalan untuk penyelesaian how to manage this process of funding political parties. As you said lah, it's a matter of time lah. Somebody comes to power, when they are out of power, they will be charged too, because naturally, takkanlah parti UMNO saja yang memerlukan wang. Takkanlah Bersatu saja memerlukan wang politik. Takkanlah parti PKR tak perlu wang. Takkanlah DAP tak perlu wang. Tapi mereka tak ada kena charge. So, it's a matter of time. So, what I'm trying to say is, if you want to solve the problem, You have to go to the root of the problem, which is the political funding and how to manage that. Jadi, why is it that the government, this government, Madani government, dia kata dulu, we want to do political funding law. But I don't see it happening yet. What do you think of that?
This issue is old. I was in the MACC as an advisor to, I think around 2010 or something. I was there for 4 years lah. We discussed these issues. So political funding law ni, there's a draft. I think there's more than one draft.
Oh, had a draft.
It is a very old subject.
Yes.
I think all those people who are relevant, who are involved in drafting laws, they have looked into this long time ago, and we discussed it. I'm talking about 2010. In my knowledge, 14 years already. At that time, the BN was in power, and what we were told is that the opposition was not in favor at that time for a very simple reason. Politics in our country is so polarized, racially polarized. Either you are with the government, which never seemed to change at that time, or you are with the opposition.
Yeah.
And opposition also, to an extent, is racially. There's a racial division, there's a religious division, pelbagai lah.
Yeah.
So people don't want to be known or identified as funding any one political party, which is what could happen if there's a political funding law. So the opposition parties yang tak suka, because they have their funders who want to remain anonymous lah.
Oh.
We know. So there was a lot of resistance. But I think it's high time, because as somebody said lah, our system is political patronage.
Yes.
Political patronage.
Kita tak boleh lari.
Tak boleh lari sejak berapa puluh tahun dah.
Yeah.
It's not exactly, it's not political funding law alone. The whole system of political patronage is there. So it's quite entrenched lah. Tapi we have to take the first step lah.
Yeah.
The political funding law is critical, memang critical, and other people have done it and done it quite well. Bukan susah pun. To me, because we did look into this, the Singapore model, for example, is very well done. It's like this project management account for housing developer. If you're a housing developer, you collect money from the public. You must set up a project development account, and all the funds must go in there. And then when you spend money on the development project, you have to prepare the accounts lah, which can be audited. That's the whole purpose. So the same thing lah, under political funding law in Singapore, for example, they work out lah for every constituency what should be the average expenditure to run for a parliamentary seat. Buy your banners, pay for your rental of your chairs, tables, the D1, the microphone, speaker, and all that lah. So they work it out, and then that's X amount you can raise, for that constituency. More than that you cannot raise. Whatever it is, all the amounts that you collect must go into an account specially set up, and you must use it for the campaigning election process. So mesti ada simpan receipt and all that, and once the elections are over, within berapa hari, berapa bulan, you must prepare an audited account and present it to the election commission. So it keeps things very simple. None of this buying, 50, 100 and all that, which cuts down significantly lah. We have to do it lah. Dulu maybe the situation was not very suitable, because we have this monolithic giant barisan on one side, the rest all kecil-kecil kan, semua takut. But now with the politics in such a flux, maybe it's time to.
Ya, saya ingat masa dulu lah, selepas kita merdeka, kalau UMNO nak buat pilihan raya, perikatan masa tu, UMNO tak ada duit. Jadi yang funding UMNO masa itu ialah MCA, Chinese Party. Jadi mulalah pada masa itu kesedaran daripada pemimpin UMNO to create funds for the party. Then UMNO start having building, UMNO start having asset, UMNO start having nominees, UMNO start having trustees, and of course a lot of greed comes into it also lah. Tapi sekurang-kurangnya UMNO has money for the election. Now, that same model, as I rasa, applies to other parties also, cuma maybe not so clear-cut lah. Jadi, as you rightly said, unless kita address the issue of funding of politics, kalau kita tak selesai, maka there will always be people who will go to jail after they lose power because to be in power, you must have money. And including the present leaders, I'm sure, they should also worry that they may not be in power forever. And you can hide whatever it is you want to hide now. But when you lose power, everything comes out. And it's the same arithmetic, So for the sake of the country and the people, saya harap this issue will be addressed by this government, supaya kita dapat tak banyak
long overdue lah.
long overdue.
Long overdue.
Long overdue. Now, thank you, Syed. Now, I want to move on to slightly different issue now. Slightly different is the issue of the election commission. Dia ada kaitan ni semua ni. How much money you need depends on how transparent is the system, who controls the process of the election, and so on and so forth. Jadi, what happens to this reform in the election commission? Is there any move? You heard anything?
No, but I think the political funding law or some act for political funding would or should be a significant portion of this total reform yang kita nak tengok ni for the election commission and all that. For example, the issue of gerrymandering of the
Kawasan lah.
This is an old story. But in how do you actually define it or control it? It's not a mathematical thing lah.
It's not science lah.
It's not a science lah. So it's up for debate. But who actually decides it? There must be a transparent system. If the election commission is the one, I think election commission is the one who will decide it lah. At least kalau the system is transparent, do they have a kira kepala? If you have so many heads in a certain area, then you have to split it or, or in the kind of thing that where it is made known to the public. Then it's okay if it's transparent. At least people can look at it and they can comment. The public can comment about it. So it is transparent. We have to work towards that. Right now, I think it's a bit of a mystery how exactly it's done. We do not know.
We do not know. And the report, election commission, sebenarnya they're supposed to come out with a report on this thing, issue of kawasan, and the issue of
then you have this issue of independence of election commission. In our country, there are so many people who should be independent under law. Election commission, this person, that person. But I think the public is maybe they're not fully comfortable or fully convinced of what is really happening because public doesn't know. Maybe we have to change that system a little bit also. To me lah, apa salahnya if we have like election commission or the important civil servants we have in the country, they present a report card to the parliamentary committee twice a year. Bukan to get approval, just a report card. So that members of parliament who are elected by the people can ask them questions. Not to hukum, not to pass judgment on their work. That cannot lah, then they cannot perform. But at least twice a year, present a report card to somebody, a parliamentary watchdog. So at least kalau lah chairman tu telinga merah setahun sekali, dua kali setahun, you find more professionalism, more commitment, more openness, more transparency lah. It will help us.
Yes. And I know, but transparency is not something kita comfortable.
Always.
We're always not comfortable. We are not comfortable with being transparent.